as promised, man, I got my guest for tonight's festivities. So this one's a very important one to me in particular because of the fact that I've known this guy ever since elementary school, and we've been grinding for the longest time as far as, getting at our dreams and what have you. About 4 years ago, he went through a horrific, incident which almost took his life. And it actually happened 4 years ago to this day, which is why we scheduled the interview for this day so that he can be in depth with it and discuss as to what happened and why he's thankful that he's still alive to this day, doing what he was born to do on this earth, which is to make music, basically. He's very charismatic, very humorous individual, and definitely one of the best kept secrets in Toronto and technically in New York as well, because he comes by way of New York via Toronto as well. Ladies and gentlemen, from Toronto to NY, I got my man Brookz in the building. Brookz, what up? What up?
Give it up, y'all. Give it up. Give it up.
Yeah, definitely.
What up, man? Yo, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
It's an honor to have you here, man. At long last, man. Yes. So, we gotta talk, man, because it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute since I last seen you. It's been a minute since we last got to hear some fresh music from you. So, what have you been up to lately as far as the music grind goes?
As far as the music, I've been working on a collaborative project with Visions, one of a new producer who has been on the team for a while, but he just started making beats for the past year and a half, I'm guessing. And we finished recording the project. We're just working on the features, and actually finished one of the singles recently, and I'm working on that. I'm also working on an EP I'm planning on dropping at the end of the year called 16 in the 6, and it's with the whole situation, 2016 being in Toronto. And I released a few promo singles for that, and a few other things on the side, working on little features for people, and
Yeah, absolutely, that's what's
that's
up,
what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, so let me ask you something, man. You were born in Toronto,
Yes.
raised in New York, Brooklyn specifically, and you spent time back and forth between the two cities. So what would you say the hip hop structure is like in Toronto as opposed to New York, since you've already been there?
That's a great question. That's a question that I've been even battling myself, because I've a lot of people ask me that question. When I'm in Brooklyn, they ask me about Toronto, and obviously if you look at artists like Drake and Tory Lanez and The Weeknd and Justin Bieber, it helped, put the city on the map. So I feel like people pay more attention to Toronto right as of now. I think the main difference to me, I feel, is the competitiveness. I think it's so much more in New York only because of the popularity. Not even the popularity, I'm sorry, the population is so much in New York. There's so many people in New York, not just musicians, but fashion designers. There's so much other things going on that is so competitive in New York. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely have to stand out, or like they say, it's who you know.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of, I feel that it's thriving out here in Toronto. It's something new, with the new artists I mentioned. So it's something that's a little bit, even though right now in New York we signed a few indie artists recently. Shout out to Dave East and Designer, who just signed deals, and Don Q and artists like that. But
So let me ask you then, what made you fall in love with hip hop? I'm pretty familiar with the story, but in case of the people who don't know, what made you want to get into hip hop?
What made me want to get into hip hop? I feel like it wasn't something that I planned. It was just something that I enjoyed doing, and I was getting a lot of compliments about it. And I've just been given opportunities, people invited me in their house to record, and situations like that. And I just continued doing it until I started realizing that this is what I'm meant to do. And it was just fun, and then it just became something serious.
Absolutely.
So I of course I was inspired by artists like we all are. So the inspiration was there.
And one of the things that, us, as Canadians, when we're watching, BET or MTV, we always listen to the artists who talk about, the environments that they grew up in, how it's rough, how they had to watch out for stick-up kids, the pimps, the hustlers, and all that stuff like that. And sometimes we try to figure out, what is real and what is fake between all of that.
Okay.
But 4 years ago, you kind of got a taste of the real, unfortunately, as far as, the struggle that goes on within the hood, so to speak.
Yes.
So, with that being said, can you tell us, the incident that happened to you 4 years ago?
All right, no problem. Well, I understand what you mean. 4 years ago, I got into an incident, got stabbed up multiple times, got beat up by a group of
hoodlums, basically.
Yes, like, I was with my cousin, picked her up from Port Authority. We traveled from Manhattan to Brooklyn. We went to where she lived at. We was gonna go to her cousin's house, and on our way there, it was like a group of people like in front of McDonald's, whatever. It was a Friday night, I believe, or Saturday night going into Sunday. So Saturday nights is
Yeah.
So I got beat up and stabbed up a few times. I didn't know that I really got stabbed up. I just couldn't breathe. It was not until after, like when I was in the hospital and sedated and everything, as I got up, I realized, like, but I remember everything that happened. So, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people, when you're in a situation like that, people are we're in a victim blaming society, I find, and a lot of people are gonna assume that, oh well, he was probably a gang member or he was probably selling drugs, whatever. Yeah. But the truth behind the matter is, as you've told me, you're actually walking your younger cousin home because it was getting late, and then unfortunately for whatever reason, you were caught in the crossfire of whatever instance was happening during that moment.
Exactly.
So to be in that situation, did you ever ask yourself why, it had to be you that were in that situation?
Well, yes, I did actually. I've been told a lot that I draw a lot of attention from. Shout out to my homie Sleek from J Music. He was one of the first person to tell me that. We was actually walking one time with Redway. I'm sure everybody's listening. Rest in peace. He came to Brooklyn. Redway came to Brooklyn, and he came to visit. He was going by my homie No One's studio, and he Sleek was like, yo, you draw a lot of attention to yourself and you don't even know. I was walking down the street and he's like, it was late, and he was kind of like cautious, he was kind of he was street smart, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I had the street smart at that time. So walking late at that time, you know what I'm saying, in that type of hood and environment, you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of understood it. It's like I'm an artist. I'm coming up. I'm up and coming. I was mixy, so to speak. Yeah. I was all over the place. And then I after the incident, I asked myself, like, would Jay-Z be in that situation? Like, would Jay-Z be in Canarsie at this time, just him and his cousin? No. So it changed my mindset. I realized that I'm an artist, and these things could happen.
And like, do you know if it was you that they were purposely going after, or they just like heard your name and said, oh well, because he's an up and coming rapper, he's probably got money, let's see if we can just jump him for his loot or something? Like, was it one of those situations?
Yeah, well, I heard stories. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. I don't really want to get. I left that to like the
authorities and all that.
Like, to find all of that out. But it seemed like random to me. But obviously, like they probably knew who I was, or you know what I'm saying, like just off of promoting and making music. Like I was told, a lot of people know me and I don't know them. So me doing my thing and things like that happened, being so like right in the hood.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So based on that experience, like, are you a bit more cautious as far as to like what your subject matter is going to be in your music going forward?
Definitely, and I think a lot of people don't realize that about me. Like, they expect the same Brookz. Like I was putting myself in situations where it's like I was like even music wise, like following the wrong company, or you know what I'm saying, like just everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't question anything. But now I am more cautious. Like, when I go out, I make sure if certain people not with me or around me, I'm not going to that event. You know what I'm saying? Like, I peep things differently now than I wasn't before. I was just wild and loose.
Yeah, of course, because you're young at the time, right? You're young, you're wild, you're free, you're enjoying yourself, your music. You have the buzz populating around you, so like you're feeling good about yourself.
Exactly.
So, with all that in mind, like, does the experience like this kind of humble you in a sense, quote unquote?
Yes, it definitely does. I remember a lot of people know the situation. Well, they know the end result. I got stabbed up, right? Obviously, I almost didn't make it. But a lot of people don't understand. Well, they don't know, so I can't really blame them. But here I am to express that. Basically, I remember after I got jumped and the whole stabbing, I was searching for help. I was looking. I needed help. I was trying to stop cars. Cars was passing, and I remember running into like a dark block and ringing the doorbells and started getting weak. And long story short, I gave up on life, so to
Yeah.
speak. You know, like I felt like, you know, this was my purpose. I felt like me being the leader of my music team and everything, I felt that it would have inspired everybody underneath me,
Yeah.
and they would have made it and helped my mom, help my dad, help
Yeah.
my siblings, help everybody around me. Like I felt like I was gonna have foundations,
Yeah.
you know, like the
Of
Brookz
course.
Foundation, like in memory of and
Yeah.
all that. So I gave up. I remember about to like fall down on the pavement. I'm like, yo, I'm about to die right here. I actually said that to myself, like I'm about to just die right here.
Yeah.
And shortly after, I heard someone coming towards me, and it kind of startled me. I didn't know I couldn't trust anything. So I kind of jumped up, and I like he was walking in the middle of the street, and he was going to his car. He's like, "Yo, you good? You all right?" And I didn't trust him, you know. So I just walked to the main road, and then I kind of like, you know, was more revived. And I always remember that moment. Like I gave up, but you know I'm here.
Yeah.
So that was God saving me. Like no, it's not over yet. So you know I realized that was my purpose. Like my purpose is to actually make it.
Do you remember who that person was that helped you out?
No, I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I feel like maybe when I get to a higher level, maybe he'll reach out. You know what I'm saying? Like say that I was him. But I remember he had like a bright sweater on, like either orange or yellow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I still kind of have the image in my head. Yeah, about like kind of heavy set, you know, brown skin. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
He was just asking me questions. I didn't trust him. He was like,
Yeah.
I think he was like, yo, you want to ride to the hospital or something? I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This situation just happened. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you don't want any more problems.
Yeah. So I found the help of myself.
Exactly, man. So, like, what was your response to, you know, the incident after the fact? Like, because I remember when I first heard about it, like, I heard about it through social media, and then it was your sister who actually messaged me privately to discuss what happened. By the way, shout out to Sasha.
Shout out to Sasha. She's on Facebook Live right now.
Of
Shout out to
course.
everybody on Facebook Live.
Most definitely. So she put me onto it.
Okay.
And from my vantage point, I saw like an outcry of people who were just like, you know, calling for your support and, you know, praying for your well-being, what have you. So when you caught wind of that, like once you came to, what was your reaction to all of that?
Oh man, like you know, when I was in the hospital, like I knew everything was going on. My eyes were closed while I was in the ambulance, and I knew what was going on. Like I was aware. It's like wow, I was like in the ambulance, like damn, did this really happen to me? So I remember getting lifted up from the ambulance. My eyes were closed, but I felt the lights on my eyes and everything. And when I'm in the hospital, I just felt tired. I just felt, you know, like I went to sleep. And when I woke up, I just seen so many people, like my aunts, people I haven't seen, people I went to school with. Like shout out to like girls like Nicole and Kanika, like people I haven't seen in so long, like was just there. And it's like you heard about this? Like that's how I felt. I was like questioning that. I had a tube in my mouth at the time, so I couldn't really actually speak, but I was thinking in my head like, you heard about this? Like I didn't know that this and that, you know what I'm saying? So that was the first moment that I had that feeling. And then when I went home, because they took my phone and my bag and everything I had with me that day, that night.
Yeah.
So I was without a phone for a while. I had like an old iPod, so I was just like seeing so many people hitting me up, and like honestly, up to this day, I haven't even replied to all of those messages. Like to be honest with you,
Yeah,
like
Facebook messages. I'm sure there's been a ton.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Facebook. I'm sorry for everybody. I appreciate it though, so much. One day I'll get back to you though, for real.
Of course. So you know, physically speaking, what was the rehabilitation process like for you?
Well, the long-term prognosis, which is what they told me, well, I had to get surgery. I had my gallbladder removed. I didn't know what a gallbladder was at the time. But everyone has one, and it helps your liver digest foods. So when you don't have it, it's harder for you to, you know, digest food, especially fatty food. So as of right now, I can't eat anything that's like fried and fatty. They gave me a long list of things. Like, honestly, I haven't really been keeping up with it, to be honest with you. But I feel when I don't, I feel the difference. Like it's like it definitely has a physical effect.
For sure,
you know, because at the time my right lung was punctured. My liver was slightly damaged. I had a tool to work on my breathing. But it took me a few months. After a while, I started playing ball again. You know, like trying to get my strength. I'm still not 100% with my body. I do calisthenics in the house. But I'm gonna go back into the gym. But as far as that, just my eating habits. Like I have to make sure I eat the right thing, like baked and nothing fried. Otherwise, I have to use the bathroom like right away. Not a great feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in this field right now, you know.
Exactly, I hear you. So like, you know, fast forward now, you know, back to present day, man. I see you post a lot of videos on social media about how you're actively keeping up with yourself and what have you, and you seem to have a very positive outlook on life.
Yes.
Normally, a lot of people would have somewhat of a negative aspect on life after going through like an event of that magnitude, but you seem to be the opposite.
Yeah.
So, what makes you have such a positive outlook on life, even after such a horrific event such as this?
Like the story I just told you shortly about me, like that moment when I was saved. Like I gave up and I'm here. It's like, wow. Like I joined a basketball league recently and we lost our first 2 games. And we have one tomorrow. And I spoke to them at our practice on Wednesday and I told them the story. They didn't know. I told them the story and I told them what I just told you as far as like me still being alive. And I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Because with everything that's going on, it's like no matter what I go through right now, because a lot of stuff happened after that. I don't have the same friends that I had before around the time. Like relationships have been, for different reasons. But other than that, I'm still here. I'm still alive. And some people don't take that to their advantage and know that I'm still living. Yeah. Because sometimes my incident was dramatic. A lot of people go through situations that remind them that hey, we're living. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why. Like knowing my job is not done, so to speak. My mom is still in a situation where she's not 100% satisfied, and I'm not satisfied because she's not, and my dad, and my siblings, and my wife, and everybody, my family, everybody was around me. Yeah. So I just have it's like I'm forced to have a positive outlook because it's like look what happened. You know what I mean? And I have a reminder, like I have the scars on my, you know what I'm saying? Like every day when I wake up.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is like, you've already, like, I guess in your mind, you already hit rock bottom at that point, so there's nowhere to go but up, so why have a negative outlook when that, of all things, happened to you, Yes. So it's definitely a good mindset to have, most definitely.